Bean, and today I'm going to be breaking down and making my predictions for UFC 324. It's been a long UFC break, but we're finally back, and it's fight week, and I'm really excited, and I'm ready to give you all my predictions for this fight card. Let's go down to the first fight of the night. We got Adam Fugit versus Ty Miller. First off, Ty Miller. If any of y'all watch Contender Series, you would know who he is. He just fought on this season, and he looked really good. I don't remember the exact guy we fought, but I believe he won by decision, and he kind of was like super active. Like he's a boxer, and he's got really good combos, and he's got high activity, and he lands a lot of significant strikes, which can help him in this fight. Because activity is always a good thing to have. If you're outlanding your opponent, it could be a good path to victory. This is going to be his UFC debut, and he is going to be fighting Adam Fugit, who has kind of been on a big losing streak, but I feel like not a lot of people know that he's been losing to some kind of high-quality talent. Like, I believe he lost to Michael Morales, and he just came off the loss to one of the most hyped-up prospects, Islam Dulatov, by knockout. Adam Fugit, I think he's going to be getting a little underrated here. Just because he's on a big losing streak, everyone might think he's just terrible. But he's lost to some high-level competition. Ty Miller, he's going to have a little bit of a reach advantage and height advantage, but nothing crazy. But Ty Miller's a pretty big welterweight. I feel like he's going to look bigger, even though their stats look pretty similar. And I think Ty Miller's going to be able to just do a good job of staying active, being the better boxer on the feet. And I think Ty Miller is going to get the job done by decision, by just probably outboxing his opponent. But I believe Ty Miller's like a minus 400 favorite. I don't really think he's a good at those odds. I would not be surprised if Fugit sneaks out a win here. But I'm going to lean Ty Miller. I'm going to trust the activity to get it done against Fugit. I would not be surprised if Ty Miller does get Fugit out of there just because of Fugit has gotten knocked out in his last fight by Islam Dulatov. But I think personally that Ty Miller is going to finish. He's going to go to decision just by outboxing Fugit. And that's my prediction for the first fight. Next fight, we got Cameron Smotherman versus Ricky Tercios. A battle of two guys who aren't really have a really good run in the UFC so far. Start off with Cameron Smotherman coming off a loss to Ricky Simone, where he kind of just got just grappled, really. He couldn't really get his striking going. But I think Cameron Smotherman's got some pretty solid skills, even though he's not obviously one of the most high-level guys. But I think he's a little bit underrated. He's had kind of a rough go to start it out. But he's going to be facing off against Ricky Tercios, who, in my opinion, I thought he had a lot of talent coming in. But I feel like he's regressed every fight. I feel like he looks worse and worse after every fight. He does get scrappy. He will be a tough night out for anyone, whoever fights him. He always will be forward. He's not going to quit on himself. He's going to try to fight. He's going to try to win. But I just think Smotherman, even though they're both kind of on a losing streak, I think Smotherman is going to be good enough to outstrike Tercios. And if Tercios does try to take him down, I feel like he'll be able to at least have good enough defense to defend the takedowns. But I don't know, this fight could get a little scary if Tercios is just pressuring Smotherman and just making it look ugly a little bit, just getting in his face. I feel like Smotherman could have a tough time, but I think I'm going to trust Smotherman to be able to keep it technical and just outstrike him and defend the takedowns. So I'm going to pick Smotherman. I think this one is also going to go to decision. And I believe Smotherman's like around minus 200. I don't know. I think that's not terrible value to bet on, but I don't know. Just because he hasn't really got any wins in UFC, I don't know if I can trust him to be bet on. But I don't think he's a terrible value. But you guys can take that information with what you will. Next fight, we got Josh Hokett versus Denzel Freeman. Josh Hokett, undefeated. He's got a lot of hype coming off Contender Series, and then he just got his first win in his debut by a very quick knockout. Josh Hokett, he's kind of like a Chael Sonnen wannabe, you could say. He's been trying to cut promos. Some people think it's corny. I'm not opposed to it. I feel like a lot of people stop trying to talk trash just because everyone's kind of said they want to be Conor McGregor or Chael Sonnen wannabe, but I feel like we need more trash talkers just to like bring more hype. But Josh Hogan, besides all the talk, he is very good. He's got good wrestling. He has a wrestling background, and he also did play in the NFL in college. So he's very athletic and is a good athlete. So he does have power in his hands, obviously for heavyweight. So I'd say he's very powerful and he's got very good wrestling. He can just take people down and kind of bully them. But it's going to be hard for him to bully a guy like Denzel Freeman, who's going to be bigger than him, at least size. I feel like a lot of people are going to be sleeping on Freeman after this, in this matchup because of his last fight of how boring. He did get the win, but it was a very boring performance, and I feel like he kind of lost a lot of hype after that performance. Just kind of made a fool out of himself against, I forgot who it was, but they got cut. The guy he's facing got cut right after. I feel like a lot of people are just going to instantly pick Hokit because he's got a lot of hype. He just got a big first round finish. I feel like Denzel Freeman isn't a terrible fighter. I feel like just could have got the octagon jitters for the first fight. I believe Denzel Freeman's underrated, and he does have some pretty good striking, and he can have some very good high kicks that can be sneaky. He's had some good head kick knockouts, and he's kind of can be good all around. I'm gonna lean Josh Hokit. I think he could be able to just get in his face and be aggressive, take him down, and land some big shots. But I believe Josh Hokit's minus 250. I don't think I could trust him as a bet. I think this fight's very close. I would avoid betting on this and just enjoy it. But I'm going to pick Hokit, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on Freeman in this spot. Next fight, at the battle of the unks, you could say. I wouldn't say Alexander Hernandez is a full-on unk, but he's kind of been fighting for a while. Michael Johnson has fought everyone in this division. You look at Michael Johnson's record, 25-19, and you might just think he's terrible. But he's been fighting some of the best competition for his whole career, like Khabib Nurmagomedov, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Edson Barbosa. He's fought everyone, and he's been just hanging around, win-loss. He's staying, and he's been getting older, but he's kind of making a little bit of a career resurgence a little bit. I believe he's on a little bit of a win streak. I don't remember. I think his last fight was against Daniel Zellhuber, which he was a big underdog and everyone was sleeping on him and thought he had no chance, but he just was more active and just got the win. Michael Johnson's obviously very old. Alexander Hernandez, he's been kind of a win-loss guy, but this is kind of a big battle of the two guys who kind of are starting on the upturn. Alexander Hernandez is on a nice little win streak. I believe he just got a finish over, I don't remember who it was, but I know the fight before he finished Chase Hooper when he was a pretty big underdog. Because Chase Hooper had a lot of hype, and he kind of just derailed Chase Hooper's hype. This is a tough one for me, man. I don't know. I feel like this could go either way. Alexander Hernandez is a little bit undersized, but he is very quick, and I think he can make up with his speed, and he can be powerful. Michael Johnson, he's shown power, but at this age, he hasn't really been as powerful, but he can still win fights at this level. I think I have to lean Alexander Hernandez just because I believe his chin's a little bit more there than Michael Johnson, and I feel like his last wins have been a little more impressive. So I think Alexander Hernandez can get the job done, probably by decision. Maybe he can find a knockout against Michael Johnson with a little bit of a weak chin now. But I'm going to lean Hernandez. I'll go actually third round knockout. I think he can get him out of there. Next fight, we got Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. I believe this is another tough one for me. I feel like a lot of people are going to be all over Charles Johnson because he's been kind of on a big little win streak, just knocking out a very hyped up undefeated prospect, Loner Kavanaugh. And he does have a knockout win over current flyweight champion Josh Van. But I feel like a lot of people are going to be underlooking Alex Perez because he is on a really big losing streak, but he's lost to some of the best competition, like Alexandre Pantoja, Tetsuro Taira in a fight. Also, considering that Tetsuro Taira fight, he was looking pretty solid, and then he just got injured, and there's nothing really could do about that. And then he just fought Asu Mabayev and he lost, but I believe he was winning that fight, and he kind of made a bad mistake and kind of gave it away, just gave his neck and got choked out. But I believe Alex Perez was winning that fight, and I think he's getting slept on a little bit too much here. Charles Johnson gonna be the bigger guy and have the bigger reach, which is gonna be helpful because he's gonna want to try and outstrike Perez, while Perez is gonna probably want to try and get him to the ground. I kind of want to pick Perez, but I don't think I can trust a guy who's been losing this much since aging. He's lost like 4 fights in a row, I believe. Charles Johnson had a little bit of a career resurgence, starting to win a ton of fights and make a little bit of a name for himself. And I think he's just going to be able to defend the takedowns and just outstrike Perez. So I'm going to take Charles Johnson by decision. And this is a very close fight. I would not really be surprised if Perez wins this. And I would not be really shocked if I see a lot of people picking Perez as an underdog here. But I'm going to lean Johnson because he's a little bit more trustworthy for me. Next fight, we got Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. Nikita Krylov on a little bit of a losing streak. He's getting on the older side. His chin is just not really there anymore. I think Nikita can be good here, and I think he's probably all around more skilled than Modestas. But the one thing Modestas has is he hits really hard for this division, especially. And Nikita Krylov's chin, he's been looking on his way out. He's been getting chinned in a lot of his fights. I believe if Krylov's going to want to win this, he's going to have to try and wrestle, but I don't know if he's going to just be able to easily take down Modestas Bukauskas. Modestas, I believe he's coming off a win against Paul Craig, where he did look a little bit not as good as he usually does. He kind of was engaging in the wrestling, but he did end up getting the win eventually. On Nikita Krylov, I think he's coming off the loss either Bogdan Guskov or Dominic Reyes, but I know he got knocked. I think it was Dominic Reyes, and he got knocked out. I think Nikita's the better all-around fighter, but I can't really just get over the fact that Modestas hits like a truck, and Nikita's chin has looked terrible in these past few fights. So I'm going to go Modestas Bukauskas to find a knockout in this fight and win. I don't know what the odds are, but if Modestas is any sort of underdog, I believe he wouldn't be a terrible bet here. I just don't think Nikita Krylov is going to be able to take Modestas' biggest shots. So I'm going to take Modestas. Next fight, we got Ateba Gautier versus Andre Pulev, and I'm going to keep this one short and simple. Ateba is going to smoke this guy. I'm very high on Ateba personally. I believe he's the real deal and can be a future champion in the middleweight division. His power is out of this world, and he's just very patient, and he can pick his shots and just find the right shots, and that's what makes him so dangerous. He's not just like a madman. I think he can be calm and collected and find the right shots and just absolutely shut the lights out of anyone in this division. Pulev did get the knockout win over Nick Klein in his last fight, but Nick Klein is like a contender series guy, never really looked too impressive, and he got taken down a couple times. So Pulev isn't really a wrestler. I don't think he can really try to wrestle Ateba here. I think this is just a complete mismatch, and Ateba is going to knock him out in the first round very easily. So I'm going with Ateba. Next up, we got Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo. Once again, I think this is just kind of a mismatch. I think Umar is going to just kind of fuck up Davison for the whole fight. Just very easily cruise the decision, whether it's outstriking him, which I think he can easily do with the height advantage, or wrestling him. I think he's got many paths to victory. I don't think Davison really has much of a path to victory. Davison coming off a close win against Montel Jackson. I wasn't really impressed with Davison's performance in that last fight. Umar, although he did come off with a little bit of a close, I mean, it was 30-27 on the scorecards, but I feel like Mario Batista performed pretty well. But I feel like Davison is a big step down. I mean, Davison's kind of on his way out, and I mean, he's not going to be able to take down Umar. This is a 3-round fight. The biggest worry of Umar is when his cardio. We saw it fade against Marab. But this is only 3 rounds, so I don't think Umar's going to have to worry about that. I think if it's on the feet, Umar's going to be able to easily outstrike Davison. And I believe Umar can take him to the ground very easily, too. I think Umar beats him however he wants to. I'll say decision because I think Davison still is pretty durable. And I would be surprised if Umar got him out of there, but I'm going to go Umar by decision. Believe this fight should be on the main card. I feel like they're kind of disrespecting Umar here. But I understand why he's being placed lower than these guys because of maybe these fights will be more exciting up here. But I'm really excited for this main card, and I hope y'all are too. I'm really excited to be back. So, first fight, probably my most intriguing fight on the card, Arnold Allen versus John Silva. I'm very excited for this one to see how it goes. John Silva, obviously, from the Fighting Nerds camp, had a lot of hype and kind of got derailed a little bit against Diego Lopez, which I feel like a lot of people have been kind of hating on him for this loss, and I feel like he's getting a little bit underrated. After that, I mean, like, yeah, he got taken down in the first round, kind of smashed in, but he showed that he was tough and could withstand that. In the second round, his striking looked really good. He was really out striking Lopez, and he kind of got a little aggressive and ran right into an elbow. I feel like he just kind of made some bad mistakes. I feel like that Diego fight was very winnable for him. I still believe that he is the better fighter, and I think that Diego Lopez loss doesn't really show too much about his career that everyone thinks it is going to be. Arnold Allen is also going to be a tough test for him, though. Arnold Allen is always a tough test for anyone. He's a great striker, but he is coming off a win. I believe it was Giga Chikadze, but it was just back in 2024. He's had a long layoff, which I really don't think is going to help him here. It's going to actually be a very tough fight coming back after this long, coming into a guy like John Silva, who is going to be able to walk him down. Arnold Allen does fight better on the front while he's aggressing, not backing up, and I feel like John Silva's presence, he's just going to be able to back him up. And really just John Silva, I think he's going to be able to land. Arnold Allen, I feel like he could make it close because he is good. He's a really great striker, but I just can't pick him or have any sort of confidence in considering the layoff, the injuries, and I just don't think he's going to be enough. I think he's outmatched coming back for this layoff from John Silva. So I got John Silva by either decision or third round KO. I don't know. Arnold Allen has looked pretty durable. It's not like I've really ever seen him just absolutely get knocked out. He's got a pretty good chin. So I don't know, but John Silva hits like a truck. So we'll see. I'll go John Silva by decision here. Next fight, we got Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. This one, not really too tough for me. I think Natalia Silva is going to be able to just outstrike Rose, and if Rose does try to take her down, I think she can defend her takedowns very easily. Natalia Silva coming off a win, I believe it was against Alexa Grasso, I think, where she kind of just outstruck her the whole time, made Alexa's striking kind of exposed it and made it not look as good as it usually is. Rose Namajunas, I believe she's coming off the win against Miranda Maverick, which isn't a horrible win, but she isn't really not as impressive as a win against Alexa Grasso. Rose, I mean, she can be inconsistent, which is not good. I mean, like, she head kicked Weili Zhang, and knocked her out, which is a very good win, but then proceeded to lose to Carla Esparza in the next fight, so she can be pretty unreliable at times. I think if Rose was on her A game, she can definitely make this one a little bit of a close one. But I don't know. Rose is way too inconsistent to be trusted here, so I'm going to go Natalia Silva just to be able to outstrike her, defend takedowns, and win a decision here pretty easily. Featured fight of the night. We got Derek Lewis versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. I'm kind of looking forward to this one. Obviously I'm looking forward to any Derek Lewis fight, but there's always the risk of it being kind of boring, of getting just taken down and held there like a Charlton Almeida fight. Derek Lewis was coming off the upset knockout against Taliesin Teixeira, which was a very big win for him. I mean, he had kind of had to gain some more traction. He just landed a great shot Yeah, we obviously know what you're gonna get with Derek Lewis every fight. He's either gonna knock you out or he's gonna probably get outstruck or out grappled and lose. But his power is just out of this world, and he can really change any fight with one shot. Waldo Cortez Acosta is kind of on the upturn. I feel like he had a lot of people hating on him after a couple boring performances against Robelis de Spain specifically. But ever since, he's been taking a lot of fights on short notice and had some really badass moments knocking people out. I feel like he's gained a lot of fans, and I feel like the fans are really warming up to him, and I feel like for good reason. Waldo has been great stepping in on short notice and saving some fights for us, so I really appreciate it, and I think he's going to be able to be good enough to outstrike Derek Lewis and use his wrestling that I feel like is everyone forgets about it, and it can be really underrated, and I think he'll be able to take down Derek Lewis or outstrike him, but he's just got to watch out for Derek Lewis's big shot. But also, I feel like it's going to help that Waldo's chin is really good. He's been taking a lot of damage, and he hasn't really gotten rocked. He takes shots very well. So I think Waldo's going to get him to a decision. He could maybe finish Derek Lewis on the ground, but I feel like he's going to be safe here, considering he knows that he's kind of close to the title. So I'm going to go Waldo by decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if for anyone picking Derek Lewis, because he could definitely just land a big shot. Except we co the co-main, the one I'm looking forward to the most, Sean O'Malley versus Sonny Don. I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I'm a big Sean O'Malley fan. He's probably my favorite fighter. So this might be a little bit biased picked. So take with that what you will, but I think Sean O'Malley's going to just make Sonny Don look silly out there, to be honest. I mean, Sean O'Malley's striking is out of this world. It's very crisp. He's got good range, distance management. He can, and I feel like he's going to be able to use that to advantage with the height and reach. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage on Son. And I feel like he's just going to be able to keep his distance and just pick Son apart and also use his feints to get Sonny Don biting and just. I feel like he's going to really get comfortable in there, and if you let Sean O'Malley get comfortable, he's going to make it a long night. Sonny Don, he can hit hard at times, which could be a little bit nerve-wracking. And he doesn't have horrible wrestling. I mean, he can have a takedown every once in a while, but I don't feel like he's going to be able to take Sean O'Malley down. I feel like Sean O'Malley's takedown defense is very underrated, considering that. I mean, yeah, he got taken down by Marab a touch, but I feel like that's been happening to everyone. Everyone gets taken down by Marab. And Sonny Don's nowhere near Marab, so I feel like Sean O'Malley's going to be able to defend the takedown Sonny Don does. I believe he's going to be able to get comfortable, just staying at range, choosing his shots, his knees, his body kicks. I feel like his body kicks are going to be a big part of this fight. And I just think if you let Sean get comfortable on the feet, there's nobody that's going to beat him in this weight class. So I'm going to go Sean O'Malley. I'm going to go third round knockout. I think he's going to snipe Yadon and put him out and really get a lot of his hype back and get people talking about maybe him versus Peter Yan at the White House. Get a lot of people back on the Sean O'Malley train. So I'm excited. I hope he gets the job done. Obviously, like I said, definitely a little bit of bias here because he is my favorite fighter. But even putting bias aside, I think this is just a good matchup for him. I think he can really exploit Sonny Don's weaknesses. And in the main event, he got Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever really had my opinion change on a fight more than this one. When this first got announced, I thought Paddy Pimblett was a lock to beat Justin Gaethje. But the closer and closer we gotten, the more and more I rewatch the fights, and Paddy Pimblett is just straight up, he's a hittable guy. And I think that Justin Gaethje is still kind of underrated in today's day and age. I mean, he is on the older side, but I feel like we haven't really seen him look old yet. I think he still is in the peak of his career. I wouldn't say peak, but he still hits hard. He still looks speedy. He doesn't look super slow down. And he is obviously really powerful, and I think he can really exploit Paddy's defense, because Paddy's striking defense has looked really questionable at times. Paddy Pimblett's obviously going to want to try and take Gaethje down, but I feel like Paddy Pimblett's got impressive, and exceptional jiu-jitsu always on the ground, but his takedowns that get people down to the ground are not really that good. I feel like Justin Gaethje will be able to defend the takedowns. And Patty, maybe not all of them, but I think Justin Gaethje can, honestly, I think this is a decent match for him. I was saying I've thought Paddy Pimblett was going to do it, and I switched up. I'm going to pick Justin Gaethje to knock out Paddy Pimblett. I think his defense is just too suspect for Justin Gaethje. I think Justin Gaethje can land a big uppercut on him. He's got a really nice right uppercut that he landed on Michael Chandler in the past. I think he can do a similar thing to finish Paddy and get him out of there. But yeah, that's all my predictions for this fight. I'm very excited for this fight card. I'm looking forward to the UFC being back, especially on Paramount Plus. And I hope y'all are looking forward to it too and ready for a good week of fights back. But I'll see you guys next time.